I like this topic here. This topic here really is helping to set the tone for 2024. And y'all see what the topic is. It's hate 'em or love 'em. Trump got both parties scared. Donald Trump got both parties scared. That's the bottom line. People can say what they want to say about Donald Trump, but his sauce, his flavor got everybody scared. You got the Democrats who obviously watch the polls as any other politician do. They understand that Donald Trump is the greatest opponent that they've probably ever seen. And Donald Trump is leading all of his Republican opponents right now. Despite the 19 legal actions against him, despite him already being found liable by a court of sexual abuse and defaming E. Jean Carroll, and they awarded her $5 million. Despite all these allegations, despite his connection to Russia, despite him saying that he would grab women's crouch areas and they like it, and he could do what he want because he got money. Despite saying that he could shoot somebody in the middle of Times Square and get away with it, despite saying that Mexican only sends their worst over here, despite all of that, Donald Trump still leads the way in the Republican Party. They cannot match his prowess. Donald Trump, in a word, is honestly a phenomenon right now. He's a phenomenon right now because no one can figure out how to beat him. And that makes these people scared because no one can figure out how to beat him. The Democrats thought that Hillary Clinton had Trump beat hands down. And what happened? Even Hillary Clinton, she was smiling. She was talking about breaking through the ceiling. She was talking about that stuff. And she was overconfident. And I just knew, I felt back then that there was something about Donald Trump that was going to make him stand out against Hillary Clinton. He beat all of his opponents. Let me just say that. He beat all of his opponents. That should have said a whole lot because there were some viable opponents out there, but he beat them all. And so now, here we are in 2024, and he has allegations against him up the yin yang, and he still is leading his party. He still is leading his party. And so now everyone is trying to jockey for position to figure out how to take him down. But not many of them have the courage to show their face to him because he's so gruesome. Not many would want to say anything to Donald Trump because he is so gruesome in his approach to the presidency. That's why there has never been, in my lifetime, there has never been a presidential candidate as aggressive, as gruesome, as boisterous, as bold, and as flamboyant as Donald Trump. Hate him or love him, I didn't say I was a supporter of anything. I didn't say anything about that. What I am saying, though, is that I like the way that Donald Trump talks about it. He sees the goal in mind, and he said, I'm going at it. I remember at one point when his party appeared to be turning against him, and he said, well, I'll do it by myself. He said, I'll go at it by myself. And he went at it by himself. And when his party began to see how much of a fearless individual that he was going at it by himself, they began to come to his aid. They began to come to his aid. And so even in spite of all of the allegations against him, all of the lawsuits, it's like 19, 20, 25 lawsuits against Donald Trump right now for election frauds and all other type of frauds. It's a lawsuit led by the governor of New York claiming that Donald Trump, they suing him for $250 million, saying that they defrauded the government out of that money. Donald Trump has been is facing criminal charges in 4 states. 4 states. New York, Florida, Washington, D.C., and Georgia. 4 states he's facing criminal charges in. But yet, he's still the front runner of the Republican Party for the presidential nominee. That tells you something. It tells you something. He has been aligned with so many people who have already been indicted, sent to prison, or on their way to prison, are being indicted, investigated, arrested, but he still is the forerunner of all Republican candidates for presidency. What does that say? What does that say? Y'all better wake up, because that's saying a whole lot if we would just pay attention. It's saying a whole lot if we would just pay attention. Let me see some, y'all, because let's just see. So I'm checking out some, y'all, and I'm just sitting up here. We talk about the world that we live in and how everything is going to hell. We talk about that, and we allow our lives to be dictated by politics, right? That's what we do. We put people in office that strategize with their politics to control our lives. That's what we do. We give them permission to control our lives. And so I have a question for us. When do we stand up and take back control of our lives? When do we stand up and say, I am not going to tolerate what's in office today? We want someone who truly represents us. Or do we think that Donald Trump truly represents us? Do we think that? It's all right if somebody want to comment, let me know what you think. Let me know what you think. Do you think that, first of all, the first question is, do you think that Donald Trump would be a better president than Joe Biden? Was he a better president than Joe Biden? Answer that question. That's the first question I want us to answer. Whether or not we believe that Donald Trump was a better president and would still be a better president than Joe Biden. What is Donald Trump's sauce? What makes him stand out and so far above his opponents? Even in the face of all of the allegations made against him, even in the face of all the over 20 lawsuits, even in the face of all of the criminal charges that have been filed against Donald Trump, even in the face of so many of Donald Trump's associates being indicted, imprisoned, jailed, arrested, investigated, interrogated, snitching, lying, cheating. Even in the face of all of this, Donald Trump still stands as the forerunner of the Republican Party. And no one other than those few Republican candidates who probably know that they're not going to win, they are the only ones who are throwing stones at Donald Trump, but they're just throwing stones in his direction. They're not throwing stones at him. It's a difference. You know, you have some of these presidential candidates that's running for president right now. They're throwing stones in Donald Trump's direction because they know that they don't want to throw the stone at him, because they know that if they hit him with the stone, it's hell to pay. And their political career will probably be over. So my question to us is that, what is the secret sauce that Donald Trump has in this in politics, that he can be facing all of these lawsuits, all of these charges? He has been found liable for sexually abusing a lady by the name of E. Jean Carroll. He has been found liable of sexually abusing her and defaming her, and the court awarded her $5 million. But yet, that still has not stopped Trump's momentum. And let me clarify, let me say this, and I want to be straightforward with this. To me, Trump is a phenomenon. To me, I don't think that there is a candidate out there right now in the race right now on either side of the aisle right now who is more fierce than Donald Trump, who is more straightforward than Donald Trump, who has the backing and the financial backing as Donald Trump, who is as gruesome as Donald Trump. I don't think that there's another candidate out there right now who can match Donald Trump's wit. He's a different type of monster. He's a different type of animal. He's like a man among boys right now. And he said it years ago. He said, I could stand in the middle of Times Square and shoot somebody and get away with it. Won't nobody say nothing. And he has proven that that's what he's been doing. He talked about grabbing women. Nothing happened. So many women came out, but nothing happened. He talked about the Mexicans are sending the worst of their people over here, the rapists and killers and that type of stuff over here. Ain't nothing happened. He talked about, y'all remember he talked about Megyn Kelly. He talked real terrible about her. Nothing happened. I think Roger Ailes was the executive of the owner of Fox News at the time. And they was trying to say at first that they were going to admonish Donald Trump. And listen, they bowed down to Donald Trump. They bowed down to Donald Trump. And Megyn Kelly ended up doing another interview with Donald Trump. And they made jokes or whatever. But my point is that, what is this secret sauce that Donald Trump has that makes him stand so far above and in front of his opponents on both sides of the aisle? Because as it stands right now, Joe Biden don't stand a chance to beat Donald Trump. None of the Republican candidates stand a chance to beat Donald Trump. What is his secret sauce? How is it that a man can have so much controversy surrounding him for decades? Donald Trump is going on 77 years old. And he has had controversy from racism, sexism, and all type of isms surrounding him for decades. But yet he still stands above all of his opponents for president. Somebody tell me in the chat, in the comment, what is his secret sauce? Is he just that much of a phenomenon? Is he that much of a phenomenon today that we have not seen? I know I have not seen in my lifetime a presidential candidate as raw as Donald Trump. I have not seen in my lifetime a presidential candidate as bold as Donald Trump, as straightforward as Donald Trump. Don't get me wrong, he lie all day too. I ain't saying he don't. But I'm talking about he will be straightforward in your face and tell you what the situation is, what he's about to do, whether you with him or not. And he go about and try to get that done. What is his secret sauce? Can somebody tell me what you think his secret sauce is? Why is it that he stands out so far above the crowd of all of his opponents, whether on the Democratic side or the Republican side? It's amazing to me how someone like Donald Trump, in a world where we say that we are about treating people equal and standing up for our rights, we live in this world, we fight for our rights every single day. But at the same time, we sell our lives over to politicians. We allow them to use us. This is where they get their power from, us, because we have the power. But if we don't use that power, we lose that power, or someone else whom sees that we're not using that power comes to take that power away from us, and they use our own power against us. And that's how they build their platform. And then they come back to us and they sell us a little bit of their power in exchange for our souls, our votes. That's what they do. That's what they do. Every single year, every single election year, they come back to the people that they messed over the most, and they ask us to get on board with them. They make these promises, ask us to get on board with them. So I'm just trying to, I'm stuck wondering, how is it that someone with so much drama surrounding them, so many allegations, so many indictments, so many investigations, arrests, lawsuits, so many, every negative thing that you could think of surrounding this individual, but yet he stands out and he stands above all of his opponents. I mean, the Democratic Party, it's like they're tucking their tails right now because they know that Biden cannot beat Donald Trump. They know that. They know that Joe Biden health is failing him. They know that. So now it's amazing to me that These things can take place in our lifetime. We watching. We are literally watching a brutal presidential reign, one of the most brutal presidential reigns in history. We're watching it every single day. And we sit up here and we get to talking about Trump a racist, this person a racist, that person a racist. I don't think it's about that right now. I think it's about picking the lesser of two evils. And what is the lesser of two evils? What is the lesser of two evils, y'all? So I'm toying over here with something, y'all, so excuse me. And the lesser of two evils, who has gotten more done? Who has stood out and stood above the crowd? Who? Who has stood out and stood above the crowd like Donald Trump? I mean, for better or worse, love it or hate it, who has stood up and fought against other countries and oppressors, etc., like Donald Trump? That's not to say he's not an oppressor. Don't mistake my words. But who has stood up and been as boisterous, been as forceful and aggressive? Who has instilled more fear in their opponents than Donald Trump? And he get away with it because he is like the big bad bully right now. He is like the big bad bully right now. He can do what he wants to whoever he want to do it to, and they ain't gonna do nothing about it. And he know it. He know who's throwing rocks at him, but they're not trying to hit him. They're just throwing rocks at him. They're not trying to hit him because they know that their political career will be over if they hit him with a rock. Because he's so tied in with whoever he's tied in with that he has to be tied in. Here's a man with over 20 lawsuits against him pending right now. Here's a man who's been criminally charged in 4 different states with election fraud and all this type of stuff. And he's still out. 4 different states. Here's a man who certain states have banned him from their ballot. But other states, even in Michigan has said that we're not banning him from the ballot. We feel like this here. If his name is on the ballot, he deserves to be on the ballot because we feel like in Michigan, this is what they're saying, we feel like everyone deserves the opportunity. Hey, I can't knock that right there. But I will say this here. There is no presidential candidate in my lifetime have I seen that's more aggressive, more forceful, more fierce, and more dominant than Donald Trump. And I didn't say that I like the guy. I didn't say that I like nothing about him. I'm talking about his politics. I'm talking about his stance. I'm talking about his position. He know how to put himself in a position to win. He told the people years ago, his own party, he said, if y'all don't want to back me, I'll do it myself. And what did he do? He went at it by himself. And when his party seen, I'm going to equate this to basketball. When his party seen the ball kept going through the hoop and the score kept coming in his favor, his party said, we got to join him now. We got to join him now. This guy right here is special. And that's what I'm saying right now. He's special. He's a phenomenon right now. There's no other presidential candidate in the history of America who has done or is doing what Donald Trump is doing. He is the man of many lawsuits, the man of many criminal charges, many investigations. Associates have many arrests, many indictments. Some of his associates already been to prison. Some of them testified and told on him. But he still stand out and far above all of his opponents. And why? Somebody tell me what the secret sauce is that Donald Trump got. How is it that he stands so far above his opponents, even in the face of all the allegations made against him, all the lawsuits and all the charges, all investigations, the indictments? How do he continue to stand up so tall? His opponents don't even come to his shoulders. It's something that he's doing. Something that he's doing, or somebody that he know, some elbows that he's rubbing, some backing that he has, that's keeping him out in front of everybody. Even when he talk about grabbing women back in the crouch area and he could do what they like and he got money. Even when he talk about he can shoot somebody in the middle of Times Square and get away with it, ain't nobody gonna do nothing. Ain't that literally what he's doing right now? All the lawsuits, all the charges. His name is not being put on ballots in certain states, but yet he finding a way to keep fighting. And that's what I think people are attracted to in Donald Trump. It's his fight. His ability to continue to fight even when it looks like a losing battle. He fight. That's what a warrior does. A warrior continues to fight. And again, I didn't say that I like the guy or support the guy or vote for the guy. No, I'm talking about that man's fight. Because maybe if other Republican presidential candidates and Democratic presidential candidates fought as hard as he fight, maybe they might have a chance. Maybe it'd be a good election. Maybe you'll give the people something to really look at, something to really hope for. But if your fight don't match his fight, then you need to bow on out right now. You need to bow on out right now. Because that man, 77 years old, that man has been fighting against his own party, against people in his own party since the time that he announced his presidency. And none of them have been able to overtake him. That tells a whole lot. That tells a whole lot. When this man can sit up there and say, I'm going to go at it by myself. If you all don't want to support me, I'm going to do this by myself and I'm going to win. What did he do? He went at it by himself and he went up against a viable opponent in Hillary Clinton. He went up against a viable opponent in Hillary Clinton. But she could not match his prowess. She could not match his ego. Her ego was inflated too, but she could not match his ego. He had a different type of ego. He had a unique ego. He had a business background ego. He had an ego that knew how the tax system worked. He talked about it. I know how the tax system works. I didn't get through. He said, I know where the loopholes are because I am a recipient of all those loopholes. And when I become president, I'm going to close those loopholes. I know where they are. Ain't that what he did when he became president? Hate him or love him. Hate him or love him. Both sides of the aisle are scared of Donald Trump because what he believes, what he stand for. It doesn't matter his religious beliefs. Let me say that. His religious beliefs don't even matter right now. Right now, he's winning in the polls against his party and against the Democratic Party. That's the only thing people thinking about right now. If his religious beliefs mattered, he would be sinking in the polls. So obviously his religious beliefs don't matter. Obviously, the incitement that he causes, there is no president who has caused the ground to swell like Donald Trump. Name one president who has caused the ground to swell like Donald Trump. And I'm talking about President Obama. He caused the ground to swell, but we're not talking about that type of swelling. We're talking about when you can tell people that during the coronavirus that maybe you should drink. If you drink some of the solution, you could kill the coronavirus, and they drink it. And they drink it. That kind of remind me of in the 70s, what was the guy named Jones, some Jones? And he had everybody poison themselves. Donald Trump said that you can cure corona by drinking this stuff. And you have people actually drinking. What presidential candidate has ever caused a ground swell like Donald Trump? I'm going to wait. I want somebody to tell me. I've been around 50 years. I want somebody to tell me what president or presidential candidate has caused the ground swell like Donald Trump. I don't care if he swelled the ground with racist antics, white supremacy. I don't care what it is. I'm talking about the mere fact that he put some type of energy out there that incited people to swell the ground up in such a way and stand behind him in such a way that no other president has done. I'm waiting. Somebody tell me, you can look it up on your computer, if you know any other president who has caused the ground to swell like Donald Trump. And by the way, he took a page out of Richard Nixon's book. I'm talking about even from his commercials that he used to run for president, even with some of his stands. All of that came out of Richard Nixon's book, the Tough on Crime stuff. All of that came from Nixon's book. But tell me, why is the Democratic Party so scared of Donald Trump? What is it about Donald Trump that causes the Democratic Party to be so scared? Someone said that the Electoral College is the one to determine the presidency, so it doesn't matter how popular whoever is. And I agree with what you're saying, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, my question is, why is the Democratic Party so scared of Donald Trump? And why is the Republican Party, his own party, so scared of him? What is it about him that causes such great fear in these people? What is it about him? What is his secret sauce? Somebody say you should be scared. And to be truthful, I kind of side with you, because it kind of reminds me of Mike Tyson. When Mike Tyson was beating up everybody was scared. Everybody that ever got in the ring with him said they were scared to get in the ring with him, because one good punch and you could be kissing that mat. So now I'm asking the same question with Donald Trump. What is it about Donald Trump that has instilled fear in so many people in politics? Some people are paralyzed. Some people, they can't even speak. Some people are tongue-tied. Some people have gone mentally insane because they can't fathom how he did it or how he's doing it. And I'm one of those people that say, I'm just curious. He's power hungry. I agree. Donald Trump is definitely power. He don't try to leave no power on the table. Donald Trump don't try to leave no power on the table because he don't want nobody else to match his prowess. So he don't leave no power on the table. That's what makes him so phenomenal. He's a phenomenon in our day and time. He's a phenomenon. I didn't say he was great. I said he's a phenomenon in our day and time. Wow. Patrick 666 TTRR says that he's the way he is. Donald Trump is the way he is because he's a dictator and he has something on them, same as Nixon. And that's my exact thoughts. That's my exact thoughts, Pat, is that they don't want to throw rocks to hit Donald Trump. They'll throw it in his direction. And they'll let him know that they threw the rocks in his direction. But they're not trying to hit Donald Trump with no rocks because they know he know all the secrets. They know that their political career will be over by the morning. He obviously has something on a whole lot of people because a whole lot of people refuse to stand up, refuse to speak out. They spoke out against so many other people. They spoke out against Obama. Even some of the Democrats spoke out against Obama, but they won't speak out against Donald Trump. Many Republicans obviously spoke out against Obama, but they won't speak out against Donald Trump. Wow. Look at who his father was. Yep, I'm sure that anybody who studied or read about Donald Trump didn't know who his father is. By the way, he was an immigrant too. He was an immigrant. Came over here from another country. And why is the Republican, how is it that Donald Trump got over 20 lawsuits against him? He's been criminally charged in 4 states. He's been held liable in 1 lawsuit for sexually abusing and defaming E. Jean Carroll, and she was awarded $5 million against Donald Trump. How is all of these things circulating around him, and he's still the front runner of the Republican Party, and he's still the most feared politician in America right now? How? He is the most feared politician in America right now. Can someone tell me about anyone else who's more fierce and more feared than Donald Trump? I'm waiting. I'm waiting. Somebody said LL Cool J. Right. Donald Trump is the most feared and the most feared politician in America right now, because he let some out already. Clinton said others were scared. I'm surprised he hasn't been unalived. Ain't that something? Donald Trump rubbed elbows with a lot of entertainers. A lot of entertainers. Like Joe Biden in 1993 and 94 was with Bill Clinton writing a 1994 crime bill that labeled young black men as super predators, and they created a law that locked so many young black men up in prison to this very day. And I was a recipient of that corrupted law that they put in place in 94 that kind of locked people in prison, gave them only 1 shot to get out. And if that shot don't work, you just you're out of there. Why Joe Biden in 94 was doing this with Bill Clinton, Donald Trump was making business moves. He was rubbing elbows with the leaders of countries, the dictators of countries. That's what he was doing. So now when the time came for him to run for president, he had already established a network of supporters amongst different presidents and dictators and people of leaders of other countries. They said when them documents come out, the stuff gonna hit the fan. Say, remember, Trump and Clinton are friends. Hey, see, that's what a lot of people don't remember. Trump supported Clinton like he would support his own brother. Nobody remember that. Trump supported Clinton and the Clintons and the Clinton Foundation because they were friends and they are friends. That's how they play dirty. He played dirty. Hillary Clinton wanted to play dirty. He played dirty with her. I'm surprised he didn't tell some of them other secrets about her, because we know him. But Donald Trump is the most feared and the most fierce politician in America. There is no president that I know of in American history who has been more dominant than Donald Trump, who has been more fear-mongering than Donald Trump, who has been more insightful as Donald Trump, who has incited so much race debate, racism, white supremacy, anti-Blackism, anti-Islamic or Islamophobia. There has been no president like Donald Trump. The only president that could come close to some of the wicked ways of Donald Trump or some of the policies of Donald Trump is Richard Nixon. And that's the page of the book that Donald Trump tore out of. And he built his entire foundation. When Richard Nixon decided to run for president, he made inflammatory comments about people from another country. He made inflammatory comments about immigrants from another country. Talked about how subhuman they were. Ain't that what Donald Trump did when he came off that elevator and he said Mexico is sending the worst of the worst? They sending their rapists and their killers. The next thing Richard Nixon did, as he talked about being tough on crime, he is really the first president that talked about being tough on crime the way he talked about it. He talked about leaving no chance, no mercy. That's what Richard Nixon talked about. Richard Nixon stoked the fires of white supremacy. He threw gasoline on that fire. He stoked the fires of systemic racism. He threw gasoline on that fire. He praised those who supported him, although they hid behind the veil of white sheets. He praised them. He praised those people whom he had control over, whom he could get to go out and do whatever he needed them to do, illegal or otherwise, the FBI. Is that not what Trump is doing right now? Is that not what Trump did right now? My question now is that, do you think that Trump was a better president than Joe Biden is today? Do you think that Trump is a better president than Joe Biden is today? Do you think that Trump would be a better president than Joe Biden would be in the next presidential cycle? This is my opinion. Joe Biden has memory loss. He's stumbling and fumbling over everything. Donald Trump, he has that corrupted tendency. He has that lying tendency. He has those connections that tells me that America is for sale, and he's a businessman. But is he better than Joe Biden? That's the question. Because if he is not better than Joe Biden, then why do the people have him leading Joe Biden in the polls? Why is he the forerunner of the Republican candidates for presidency if he's not a good presidential candidate? And let me say this here. The highest heights are gained by those who reach the greatest depths. Here's a man who's carrying over 20 lawsuits on his back, charges in 4 different states, liability, found liable for damages for sexual abuse and defamation of character, who has many of his associates have been imprisoned already. Jim Jones, ain't that something? Jim Jones. That's what I'm talking about. That's that cultism that I'm talking about. He has many indictments, allegations against him, investigations. Many of his people have been arrested or imprisoned, but yet he still stands out as the forerunner of the Republican Party. What the heck is going on? Are we blind? Or is the people just telling us something? Are they telling us that I would rather have this man whom flaws are on display than to have another person like Joe Biden who acts perfect, a person who is flawless? So what is the people really saying to us? What is the people really saying to us when they say that despite all of this stuff against Trump, we would rather have Trump as a president? What are they saying to us? I think I just said it. Despite all this stuff surrounding Trump, we still would rather have him. That's what the people saying. That's not me saying that. That's what the people saying. We just got to pay attention. See, we don't pay attention to what the people are saying. Say America celebrated John Gotti. So it's no surprise. What was John Gotti's nickname? Teflon Don? Ain't that what Trump presenting himself to be right now? Teflon Don, going through all of these indictments and charges, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And he's coming out unscathed. He has not spent one day behind a jail, in a jail cell or behind a prison bar. He has not spent one day. But yet, there are allegations up the yin yang against him. There's allegations up the yin yang. There's many people who's testified against him. There's so much evidence piled up against him. But again, the people are saying that I would rather have Donald Trump than Joe Biden as president. What is his secret sauce? What is Donald Trump's secret sauce? That the people would overlook all of his all of his corruption, all of the drama surrounding him, all of the everything that the negative connotations that even comes with just speaking his name. They willing to overlook all of that to allow him to beat Joe Biden in the presidential election. They're willing to overlook all of that to allow him to be the forerunner of the Republican Party in the presidential election. What is the secret sauce? What are we dealing with today? Is this a sign that we as a people are sacrificing our integrity because we are scared to stand up to what we believe? Is this a sign that we as a people are selling ourselves out because we would rather sell ourselves out and be controlled by someone who knows how to run a country as a business than to stand 10 toes down and stand up and suffer through the trials and tribulations until we can get this thing right? So we would rather have a president who obviously is a businessman who sells everything. He broke every law he could with no consequences, not backing the government like we can't. Ain't that something? They say Donald Trump is a treasonous. That's what they said. He's a treasonous. He betrayed the country. He's a traitor. All of this stuff is circulated. But I think that the people has spoken in such a way that I don't understand. I don't necessarily dislike or like the guy. I'm just saying I'm flabbergasted because this man has had so many allegations around him. I mean, look at it like this. Anyone who's listening to my voice, now I ask that y'all share out my feed, please. Share out my posts, my live feed right here. I think more people need to hear this. More people need to debate this because I'm not speaking from certain, like I'm so politically tied. I'm politically correct. I'm not speaking like that. I'm speaking straight mano to mano. I'm speaking languages that we know. I'm speaking the thoughts that we've been generating, thinking about. Now, China says he borrowed money in the U.S. name. Ain't that something? Know about that too? China said that Donald Trump borrowed money for them in the U.S. name. Did y'all just hear that? Because that's what China did say. They said Donald Trump borrowed money in the name of the U.S. But the money didn't go to the U.S. The money went to Donald Trump. Watch y'all. Say Donald Trump, oh, what is that? That's like $200 million. Ain't that something? $200 million. That doesn't even matter. That I agree with what you're saying, Pat, but it obviously doesn't matter to the people that's saying, I would rather have him over Joe Biden. I would rather have Donald Trump over Joe Biden, even though he used our name and got money borrowed money from another country in our name. Now that's 200 million right there, baby. Oh, my eyes probably can't count them zeros right, but imagine taking money out of your loved one's account, your wife, your mother, your father, taking money out of their account without them knowing. And you took it out of their account in their name. And you use that money for your own benefit. That's called misappropriation of funds. That's a criminal charge, right? That's a criminal charge, right? So now here's an ex-president who borrowed money from another country in the United States name. And none of that money went to the United States. But again, I asked the question, why are the people standing behind Donald Trump if he's such a bad example of a president? Why? He got to have a secret. It has to be something about Donald Trump that's causing people to say, I would rather have him than Joe Biden. I would rather have him than Joe Biden. No, Joe Biden is definitely running. He can't run no more because he keep tripping over stuff, but he gonna run. But why is it that the people who are armed with the same information that we're armed with, buddy, we're talking about why is it that the people would rather have Donald Trump, who's surrounded by drama, allegations, indictments, investigations, arrests, lawsuits, etc. He's being charged in 4 different states with criminal offenses. A lawsuit has already been awarded to a female whom alleged that Donald Trump sexually abused her and defamed her. They awarded her $5 million. Donald Trump has got 19 lawsuits against him and so many other criminal investigations and civil investigations against him. What is he doing that makes him still be ahead of all the Republican candidates for president? Why is he so feared by both parties? Yet he's so wrapped up in all of this corruption. Say you would rather have food than Joe Biden. I agree, because I'm not a fan of Joe Biden at all. Let me say that right now. I'm not a fan of Joe Biden at all. I'm not a fan of Donald Trump at all. I'm not a fan of either one of them. But what I will say is that I have never seen a president as dominant as Donald Trump. I have never seen a president as aggressive and assertive as Donald Trump. I've never seen a president as stubborn and has such tunnel vision when it comes to attaining a goal, reaching a success as Donald Trump. I've never seen it in my lifetime. And those are qualities that I think the people fall in love with, because those are qualities that we all aspire to have in our lives. Those qualities, that stubbornness to use tunnel vision to succeed, that prowess and that wisdom behind the prowess to know that you will achieve what you set your mind out to achieve. I'm asking, buddy, you just came on here, and I was asking anyone, can you tell me what the secret sauce is that Donald Trump has? Because he's shrouded in all of this corruption, but yet he's still leading in the polls. 77 years old, shrouded in corruption, sold pieces and parts of America to Russia, China, but yet he leads in the election. So what is his secret sauce? That's my only question. What is his secret sauce? Why is the Democratic Party so scared of Donald Trump? Why is the Republican Party so scared of Donald Trump? That's my question. That's a simple question. It's just that answers vary and are so hard to find, but it's a simple question. What is it about Donald Trump that got these people so scared? They don't want to say nothing. Listen, Donald Trump got these people, they don't want to say nothing. Some of them speak in tongues now. Some of them, it's like they saying right now, me no speaking English. They don't want to say nothing. And that's how he got them. But also, one of my friends got on here and he said, that's how dictators are. Nobody's going to stand up to the dictator, right? And I agree. A dictator is like the bully. Nobody stands up to the bully. But one day, when someone finds the courage to stand up to that bully, as I think Patrick said earlier, when the stuff hit the fan, when that SHIT hit the fan, it's going to be stanky. It's going to be stanking. It's going to be stanky. He get away with everything. But if he get away with everything, and somebody said, Zontel said, his secret sauce is that he's just him. And man, that's kind of what I would say too, because no other president has been as raw and uncut as him. We even when he lied, and the evidence is shown that, man, this ain't what happened. This is what happened. He still stand on what he's saying. Even in the face of a lie, he still stand on what he's saying. And I think that that's the characteristic that most Americans are attracted to. That he stand up for what he believes is true. Even if you don't believe it's true, he believes it's true, and that's what he stand on. And that's a characteristic to admire. Real talk. That's a characteristic to admire. When you can stand on what you believe in, right or wrong. When you can speak on what you believe in, and you can get other people to believe in what you believe in. You can impose your thoughts on other people to the point that they began to think exactly how you want them to think. As Patrick said, that's the Jim Jones effect, the cult leader. Because I said this before, and I'm going to say this again. Does any of you remember when COVID hit and Donald Trump, they was talking about trying to find a cure for it. And they was talking about using sanitizer to wipe down hands and, clean spaces around you off. And Donald Trump was talking about drink the juice. Bird just said it. Yep. He told the people to drink it. That's what he told the people. And what did the people do? They drunk it. They drunk it. They drunk these disinfected solutions because Donald Trump said that that's how you would get rid of COVID, by drinking it. And so now that puts him right into the mind of Jim Jones, who told his followers that they all committed group suicide. They drank that poison. He told them to drink, and they drank, and all of them died. Donald Trump told people to drink a solution that's a hazard to anybody's health. And all common sense went out of our minds as some people drank that solution that was not meant for human consumption. No other president has had that cult-like effect on the people like Donald Trump. There was a story on TikTok of this guy, and he said Donald Trump didn't lose the election. He said Donald Trump is still the president. He said this guy on TikTok, and it was on several social media platforms though, but I seen it on TikTok. And so someone asked the guy, well, Joe Biden is president. Why do you say Donald Trump never lost? He said, no, Joe Biden is not president. Donald Trump is president. and he will always be president. That's where I take my orders from. His orders from. That's that dictator mentality. That's how you indoctrinate the mind of the people to see things the way you see it. Sometimes fear will make you see stuff that your eyes never seen, make you hear stuff that your ears never heard, make you say stuff that never should have been said. But fear will make you do that. Fear will make you do that. Fear will make you think that someone is above you because you're scared to stand up on your own. Fear will make you think that if you stand up and speak out, that you are alone. And we know what happened to the herd when the hyenas catch one alone. So we get scared. We don't stand up. And that's how the bully gained his power, because nobody stands up. Nobody stands up. Joe Biden, I was surprised he couldn't get past Bernie Sanders. Just that Bernie Sanders dropped out. And Bernie Sanders is older than Joe Biden. But Bernie Sanders was connected to the people. And as I said, hate it or love it, Donald Trump is connected to the people. It's just that the people that he's connected to are, hide behind the veil of white supremacy and hate groups. But nonetheless, we're not talking about who listens and follows him. We're talking about the mere fact of people listening and following him, hanging on to his every word, watching his every move, supporting any and everything he do. Here's a billionaire, known billionaire, and people still pouring money into his pocket because he's telling them to do it. He's making them think that they have to do it. If you believe in me, if you believe in what I'm saying, if you want to see the world from my eyes, if you want to control the world like I want to control the world, if you want me to control the world so it could be better, a better life for you, then support me. I need your financial backing. I need your donations. And people come out of their pockets like the crowds in the church. Give all their money to the pastor. Donald Trump is the most feared and most fierce political or politician in America right now. There's no one who can match his prowess. I didn't say he's the best candidate in the world. I said he's the most feared and the most fierce. No one can match his prowess. People are scared. Oh man, I'll talk about that tomorrow right there. I'll talk about that right there. Cat Williams. Ice Queen said, Mr. D, what's your take on Cat Williams' interview on Club Shay Shay? Oh yeah, I got something to talk about on that tomorrow. Tomorrow at around, tomorrow's Friday, so I'll probably do it early around 12, 1 o'clock. But let me just say, because I got to start wrapping this up, y'all. I've been on here about an hour and 10 minutes. About an hour and 10 minutes. But I'm going to say this, and I want y'all to just listen to what I'm saying. I'm neither a fan of Donald Trump, and I'm certainly not a fan of Joe Biden. Donald Trump preached, and I say preached, tough on crime, and he helped the public convict those brothers back in the days for the Central Park 4 or 5. He helped convict them, and then when they was cleared of all charges, he didn't even apologize. Donald Trump and his father had a history of discriminating against black people in their apartments that they was renting out. That's etched in stone. Donald Trump is a misogynist. He talked bad about women, and from Megyn Kelly to grabbing women in their crouch areas. That don't sit good with me. Donald Trump said that when he came to Detroit, and he said that he wanted us to support him, the minorities. He said, what do y'all got to lose? You're already walking down the street. You can't walk down the street without getting shot. He talked so low to us, so far down to us that it was appalling. Donald Trump, when he first ran for president, he got off the elevator and he said Mexico was sending the worst of the worst. They sending their rapists and killers. Donald Trump, he said I could stand in the middle of Times Square and shoot somebody and get away with it. Donald Trump, he was just recently found liable for sexual abuse and defaming E. Jean Carroll, and she was awarded $5 million from Donald Trump. Donald Trump has over 20 lawsuits against him, civil lawsuits. Donald Trump has been charged in 4 states with charges of fraud and things of that nature. Donald Trump, many of his constituents and associates have been either charged, allegations made against them, indictments, investigated, arrested, or imprisoned. Donald Trump has been banned from running for president in certain states. But Donald Trump still stands 10 toes down and is fighting a fight that he sees fit for himself. And he's winning against all Republican candidates and Democratic candidates. And for that, I think he should be feared. Whether for right or wrong, he should be feared because he has a sauce that nobody has figured out yet. So I'm about to close, y'all. With that, I'm going to close with saying peace and love to those within the sound of my voice, and for those who cannot hear the sound of my voice, I say pass along the message because someone needs to be inspired.